Well, after 3 years of waiting, after 2018, the release of the first Venom movie, Venom Let There Be Carnage is finally here. And soon we'll be Spider-Man No Way Home after a whole year of no MCU films. Well, the only movie that was on was Sonic the Hedgehog. And let's not forget those other events in 2018. Like the PS4 Spider-Man game, and we waited 2 whole years for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and 2 years more for the sequel. And Into the Spider-Verse, we still haven't. It's been the same amount of years of Venom, but we have to wait another year for Into the Spider-Verse 2, which has been titled Across the Spider-Verse. Agreed, someone. Agreed. I've seen those I've seen those movies 1, 2, 3 times already. You do know Ranger is going to declare war on you, don't you? Oh, come on. It's not that bad, is it? She's got a point, you know. Sorry, Shadow. And sorry, Solon. I remember when Venom first appeared in a movie in Spider-Man 3 back in 2007, and it took years for him to appear in a movie. Let's say 2018, and waited until 2021. I feel like making Spider-Man 3 references here in this review. Especially on a Sunday. Hey, school night. I don't even go to school. Due to me living underground Dino-henge. Okay. Enough yammering, guys. Let's get on to review. Shall we begin the review of Venom Let There Be Carnage? Sure, why not? The review begins in the 90s around a special unwanted children's school. Years have passed. And it shows Cletus Cassidy, the same Carnage killer from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, and his girlfriend Frances, and the guards were going to take the two of them to the high maximum security prison, Ravencroft. As in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I love how Ravencroft exists in this movie and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. What's next? Are they going to include Ravencroft in Spider-Man No Way Home? I doubt the MCU would actually put Ravencroft in a movie of their own. Because that prison that Adrian Toomes went to in the credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming was not Ravencroft. And Frances has her own echoing powers. And years later, the cop and Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, were discussing about Cassidy, or should I call him Cletus? Just stick to Cassidy. And then, after the talk, Venom tried to eat him, but Eddie stopped him. That's where Venom and Eddie get into an argument. But they're soon to get along well as friends. But Venom implies that they should be out there protecting the city of San Francisco. I mean, come on, Eddie. Protecting the city is what superheroes do, given you and Venom to be anti heroes. And Venom thinks interviewing Cassidy is worth the risk. And I think it was after where he got out from Ravencroft and when Cassidy told Eddie that there's gonna be Carnage. That pretty much predicted Carnage would be the main villain. Never a night over with Eddie and Annie. They were discussing where Annie should marry Dan, played by Reed Scott. But Annie said that Dan made her feel safer. If you had someone else so on, would you say that to me? Of course not, Sonic. You always make me feel safe. And you always will. Hey. No making out in public during this review. We're outside a theater. And yes, Annie asks Venom to make sure Eddie doesn't do anything stubborn, and Eddie does some reckless driving on his motorcycle. The night. I mean, who does that? No one. He did that driving on his bike while escaping those drones and guards from the Life Foundation in the first movie when Colton Drake was targeting the symbiotes. Try comparing the symbiotes to the Sporks. Will you Shadow's Eye? Well, so on to begin with, I'm not Shadow's Eye. I'm technically Dimension 123's version of Batman, which is who I'm going to dress up as for Halloween. And I'm going to do that. I'm Batman. And I'm gonna be Spider-Man since Spider-Man No Way Home is coming this Christmas. It'll be the perfect Christmas gift. I like Tobey Maguire's Spidey, so he did Hilly Hiker's dance in Spider-Man 3 and a cool emo dance. And he even made Mr. Jameson laugh in Spider-Man 2. And he even said that he had to beat an old lady with a stick. Kind of like what Carol Danvers does in Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. Oh, wrong voice. That's what Ranger gets doing for a lot of voices while working on these projects. Oops, that's from the chili dog I ate. You had to recreate that scene from the Sonic movie, didn't you? Ah, come on! I thought cyborgs don't... half cyborg, you mean? Anyway, after a big bike ride... Eddie was writing out a script on review, but Venom was demanding food, and then went over to Mrs. Chin's place. And Mrs. Chin greeted Venom too. This Mrs. Chin must have gotten used to Venom after the ending scene of the first movie. Oh, I have a parasite. Night, Miss Chin. Parasite? Yeah, it's just no one can hear you, that's all. Apologize. Now. Apologize. Fine, fine. I'm sorry. I laughed so hard at that scene. The workers at Ravencroft were planning to execute Cassidy, and the guards told Francis that the world will be better off without him. I mean, that explains it. Cletus Cassidy is a big psychopath and a psycho killer. Murders people in cold blood. Dennis Carradine nearly murdered a boy, though, in that one scene in the Spider-Man 2 video game. And he was playing Getting On Out. So sent a letter to Eddie and telling him to come over. And he killed his own mother and his grandmother. That's serial killing. Not much of a maniac from Eddie Brock from Spider-Man 3. Even calling Peter Parker a Boy Scout. And reverting a retraction. I mean, when Eddie Brock is in public places and public operations, it's a me thing, not a we thing. But Venom does not like being quiet. Anywho, he told the guard he was doing impression and they were arguing, but that made the receptionist very angry. And then Eddie did his interview with Cassidy, which ended very badly, and said that they were alike, but Eddie denied it. I mean, come on, why are Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy alike? That does explain them breaking out together out of Oscorp in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and tag teaming in Spider-Man Unlimited. You do get that. Well... they cause a lot of trouble. And said those things which caused Venom to go AWOL. After that, things ended badly, and Cletus got a dose of Eddie's blood and ate it with some symbiote on it. I mean, come on. Real symbiote hosts are supposed to be symbiotic. Not eating blood. That doesn't make you symbiotic. Eddie was still upset at Venom. And then Venom headbutted Eddie and apologized and headbutted him again. That's where the fight got started. And Venom was breaking Eddie's things out the window. And Eddie threatened to squeeze Venom's chicken friends, but which Venom did not like, and hung Eddie up to the ceiling. And they said goodbye. Then Eddie used one of Venom's weaknesses against him, and Venom flew out the window. As soon as he chose another host, Venom gave Eddie the middle finger. And Eddie evicted the chickens and took down the rules of no eating. And we see Venom at a party. Guess the Eddie and Venom thing didn't work out. Or did it? Over at Cassidy's execution, the guards asked if he had anything to say for himself. But then that's when he first transformed into Carnage and caused chaos. And then broke out with a big mess at Ravencroft. Later, Cassidy stole a car, and Carnage loved it too. And Cassidy and Carnage were quite the troublemakers. And then they made a deal. That's when Cassidy broke Francis out and they were reunited. And they broke out of Ravencroft. And Cassidy transformed into Carnage again and used his symbiote tentacles to slow down the weapons and choppers. And Venom on the bill thing was good too. And he even possessed Mrs. Chin. Cassidy and Francis were holding a wedding, and Carnage wanted to see that too. And they were planning on arresting the cop and stormed Eddie's place. Ernie and Dan went into Mrs. Chin's shop. And Mrs. Chin explained how Annie broke Eddie's heart. And he explained about Venom and got him to help Eddie. And that's when the Venom symbiote bonded itself to Annie again. And then they broke out. Eddie apologized to Venom, and the two were on a mission to stop Cassidy. But Francis and Cassidy already kidnapped Annie. And they learned that they were gonna go storming a wedding. And for that, Cassidy was using the Carnage symbiote tentacles to hold Annie in the cop. That's when Venom broke down the doors. And when Cassidy turned into Carnage, Venom turned back into Eddie because Carnage is a red one, a red symbiote. But soon after that, they started to brawl in the church. Francis and Carnage were taking on Venom. Francis used her sonic powers, but Dan used the flamethrower and Carnage and learned that they needed sound or fire on the symbiote. But when Carnage threatened to kill Francis, Cassidy tried to get him to stop, but Carnage wouldn't listen. Carnage and Cassidy weren't symbiotic, but Eddie and Venom were. Together, they were one. They broke out and prevented Cassidy and Carnage from doing any more damage. As soon as the bells kicked in, the Carnage symbiote crawled out of Cletus, but Venom ate it, then bit Cassidy's head off. And Annie knew that the cops were coming for Eddie and Carnage and that they had to get away. Venom started to like Dan and told those two to take care. And then we learned how Venom and Eddie continued to get along and how together they were more. And they became true friends. Fugitives on the run, but true friends. And they moved to the desert. Together, as lifelong friends, they thought about a few things. Venom even suggested a cape. Venom is Doctor Strange? Capers? That is quite distressing. Says the half cyborg, half dinosaur who got beamed by a shape-shifting robot. Oh, gee whiz. And after the credit scene, Eddie was lying in bed and Venom was explaining what the symbiotes could do. But then, that multiverse spell that Doctor Strange unleashed. Cut them. Then it showed the news, J. Jonah James, and then it showed Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the news, the aftermath of the credit scene. I'm pretty sure that sets up the events for No Way Home. That was fun, I gotta admit. This is definitely gonna be an amazing Halloween. Right? Right. Oh, let's play some Halloween games when we got the chance, guys.